Gwen Inglis died on May 16, 2021, as a result of an impaired driver who struck her while Gwen was doing what she loved, riding her bike. In high school, she was very active, playing basketball, volleyball, and running track. In 2004, Gwen discovered her love of cycling and began racing. This love of bikes led her to meet her husband, Mike, and in 2008, they were married. As fellow cycling enthusiasts, they traveled to bike races all over the country together. She held numerous national and state champion titles. You might also see them on the tandem together. The words power couple were frequently heard referring to this dynamic duo. Besides being teammates on and off the bike, they were best friends who lived life to the fullest. It's true, Gwen offered her full self to anyone in her presence, listening fully and leaning in. She represented pure love and all that is good. Losing Gwen has left an indelible and deep mark on all who knew her and met her. The heartbreak her family and community suffer in the wake of this event cannot be fairly described in words. She was powerfully faith-filled and set a positive example to us all of what it meant to be a Christian, to live a life of kindness and grace, and she made the world a better place.
Megan reached out asking for a bike donation for a ghost bike for Gwen, and I was immediately wanting to volunteer this bike for Gwen. I thought it was a great representation of her, and it's kind of a classic looking bike, but it's also a really fast bike, and I feel like that represents Gwen. Every time I got to ride with her, whether it was in a race or out on a climbing a mountain or something, she was always she had a very classy attitude and was really respectful of everybody, but she also knew how to really throw down, and hopefully it'll make an impact on other drivers and to make them realize that there are people's lives on the line out on these roads.
So now I begin the spray painting process.
Yeah.
I've unfortunately had to do too many of these. We will go paint a bike. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go get all my supplies.
The community is coming together here tomorrow morning at 9:30 for a memorial, and the ghost bike will be dedicated in Gwen's honor. This memorial event tomorrow morning is open to the public.
In Jefferson County tonight, Colorado's cycling community is mourning the loss of one of their own, a champion hit and killed by a driver that drifted into a bicycle lane.
Investigators say 46-year-old Gwen Inglis was riding in the bike lane when the vehicle drifted across the line and hit her.
Police say the driver who hit her faces vehicular homicide and DUI charges. Prosecutors filed 8 charges against Ryan Montoya, including vehicular homicide, driving under the influence, careless driving, and improper changing of lanes.
Well, a grieving community gathers to honor a cyclist hit and killed by a suspected impaired driver, and a ghost bike is placed at the scene where she was hit.
So surreal to have my wife, my best friend, my stoker on my tandem, not here anymore.
Gwen's death received national and international news coverage, and her death was felt far and wide. She was so loved by everyone who knew her. On May 18th, 2021, hundreds of friends held a memorial service near the ghost bike installed in remembrance of Gwen.
If I could sum up my sister in one word, it would be love. She loved her racing friends. She loved her coworkers. She just loved all of you immensely.
I really appreciate you coming out, all the millions of texts. How you guys get my phone number, I have no idea.
The one who checked in on everyone else was always Gwen.
She would always hit me when I would talk to one of my buddies, and she would always say, hey, ask him how his son's doing. Ask him how his kid's doing.
So Michael will try to remember now.
And if we can share each other's burdens, it makes everybody's burden lighter.
They can't help but share this pain and heal together.
And the wonderful thing is we can be like Gwen. And for Gwen, as so many of you know, you've experienced her love, and that means so much to us. But she truly, as we've said, and you know it, she loved others. She was the epitome of somebody who put others first in her life. She was the one who tried with all that she had in anything she did. And she just taught us to live every life moment to the fullest.
That hashtag that has gained some traction this week is Be Like Gwen. I and many of us in here have been living that mantra for years, whether consciously or subconsciously. Gwen raises the level of everyone around her just by being her.
You protected, you trusted, you hoped, and you persevered. You never failed to love. You see, Gwen, to be like you, to be like Gwen, is to love like Christ. You exemplified the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, and you were genuine in doing so. It wasn't fake. But above all, my dearest Gwen, you loved so well. You loved your coworkers in a unique way that showed them who you are. You loved your immense cycling community, competitors, organizers, volunteers, friends, all of them, regardless of how good a racer they are or what they were doing that day. You loved your cycling teammates and treated them as your extended family, your cycling brothers and sisters. You loved your family, and you were an amazing niece, cousin, aunt, sister, and daughter to us all. You absolutely loved Michael to the depths of your soul where nobody else could possibly reach. And you loved your Savior, Jesus Christ, and you were unwavering in your faith.
I want to just say thanks for all the kind words. I had stories and I had plans. And we've made 1 million plans, and we've done 1 million things, and created 1 million stories together. And we had so many more plans that were going to happen in the future.
The first time I really met Gwen was actually on my first ride. Mike had us ride from Lakewood up to Niwot to watch Gwen race in the Colorado State Champions, which Gwen won. She took a 2-lap solo ride to win the state championship that year. And from then on, I was friends with Mike and Gwen, and Mike was the one who taught me to go full steam ahead into life, and Gwen was the one who kind of taught me how to be a better person. I owe them a lot for my development in my early 20s.
I met Gwen when I first started bike racing. Gwen was on the Pro 1-2 team, and I was on the new team, the 3-4s. But I looked up to her, both, physically and literally, because she's so much taller than everybody else. But Gwen, I quickly realized that she was a good model of the sport and a good person to be around. I learned a lot from her.
I'd say the thing that made it always so special was every time we rode with Gwen, it was a fun ride. It was always lots of smiles, lots of laughs. And for someone who I didn't know very well, she really had an impression on me as an individual as well as a cyclist.
Gwen, with her death, I think it makes us all in the area of advocacy want to even work harder now to bring about a safer streets, safer conditions for cyclists out there.
We need a lot of help with policy change, and I think I'm so grateful to Megan and all the work that she does. She's just unbelievable. But yeah, policy change, we need education, we need community outreach.
No one should have to go through what my family and I have been through, and so we're going to try to do everything we can to keep that from happening. It's your privilege to be able to drive a car, and so you have to take that responsibility seriously. I just think that people have to be made accountable when they make bad judgments and bad decisions. It's a heartbreaking situation for anyone to go through. I don't wish it on anyone.
We're confident that the legal authorities will do their job and take care of what we believe should be done, to the maximum that they possibly can. I think we're hoping for that. I think that would be appropriate for the life that he took. If this can help save one life, we'll never know it, but if it does, then it'll be worth it. I'm hopeful that can happen. I think of all the things that could really anger her about bicycling, it was kind of just this general lack of understanding and to a certain degree respect of what bicyclists have to do in order to be safe, and don't feel like that's reciprocated sometimes by motorists.
Group of people who have worked tirelessly with me throughout the last many months to make this happen. I want to thank them tremendously for being here.
So you were actually the first one on the course.
I was.
So how does it feel to be the first one to bring women's racing back to Colorado?
It was really exciting for me, actually. The crowd was all excited, and the announcers, and to be the first woman to take off for the first ever Women's Pro Challenge was pretty exciting.
Thank you for your time, and we'll keep an eye out for you and your team.
Sounds great. Thank you.
How'd yesterday go up in Breckenridge?
It went. It was a tough course, but we all survived, did our best, gave it our all.
So when you look around and you see this field, we haven't seen anything like this in Colorado in my time in the sport. Pretty impressed by Armstrong, Abbott, everybody in the field?
Definitely. We have, the best riders in the country here, and so we're happy to be able to race with them.
Good luck, Gwen.
Ryan Montoya pled guilty to hitting and killing Gwen with his car. His sentence will be decided on June 7th, 2022 by Judge Diego Hunt. May we always remember Gwen, never forget, keep advocating for safer cycling, and keep riding in her honor. Gwen loved to ride. Let's be like Gwen.